Part 3, Chapter 6. I walked back to the Tiny Dancer. As usual, my dad wasn't around. The wind, growing stronger by the minute, was tossing the boats in the marina around. I went below, crawled into my berth to get warm, and leaned my head against the pillow. The stuff from Bob's toy, the stuff Melissa knew about, it was marijuana. I could tell from the smell and the feel of it. I'd known it for a long time. I'd known it for a long time, even though I'd pretended I didn't. But the stuff in the red packages, the stuff from the train, what was that? And why would somebody run the risk of smuggling those packages into a country and then let them sit on the Tiny Dancer week after week? It didn't make sense. I twisted around and slid open the panel to the storage nook. I reached inside, removed my dad's medals, and then took out the closest red package for what had to be the 50th time. I put it up to my nose. No odor. I squeezed it, and once again it reminded me of Play-Doh. I turned it this way and that, held it up to the light, even thought about accidentally ripping a corner so I could peek inside. But what chance was there that I'd know what it was even if I could see it? At that moment, I heard a heavy clomp above me. My dad was back. It was windy. I hadn't heard him walking on the pier. My light was on. The storage nook was wide open. His medals were all out on my mattress. As fast as I could, I stuffed the package back into the storage space. He was climbing down the cabin just as I slid the false panel shut. His medals were still out, so I shoved them under my blankets. He looked in at me. "What are you doing up, Chance?" His eyes were bloodshot. His words were slurred. "Couldn't sleep," I said. "The wind." "It's blowing hard, isn't it?" "Yeah, it is." I paused, "but I think I'll try again. Now, I'm pretty tired." He rummaged through the drawer and pulled out a package of cigarettes. "You do that," he said. "I'll be calling it a night myself right after I have the last cigarette." He went back up on deck and he had his smoke. I slid the panel open and put his medals back. Then I flicked off my light. 5 minutes later he came back down, pulled off his boots, and then sighed loudly as he crawled into his berth. All night the boat rocked back and forth. Any other night the storm would have kept me up, but now I knew what I had to do. In the morning I'd go to the marina office, see the fat guy, tell him it was over for me and that I was quitting. 3 more weeks and I'd be out. I slept.